Ready?
Yep.
All right, making our way inside. First thing I want to touch on is actually the steps going inside of your coach. Right now they're in the out position. Easiest way to put these up, take the bottom step, fold it up here, then you grab that middle step or second step, and then fold those inside. What you don't want to do is pinch your fingers, so they provided a bar here. You pull on the bar, and then you just kind of pull that third step down, and we'll make our way inside. We'll start in the front. You've got a king size bed here, which is actually pretty large for this size camper. Up above, you've got all your storage. On each side of the bed, you have 110 outlets. And then right here underneath, you've got plenty of storage for anything from camping supplies to bedding material or anything like that. Underneath you have a 12-volt light, which is nice, and then each of the side wardrobes have a 12-volt light underneath. Up here you have your an exhaust fan. It's also got a 12-volt fan and a lid you can crank up to get rid of some of that heat that tends to sit on the top of the campers. Over here you have your TV. Little thing you want to know about the TV, if you do a channel scan in Jacksonville, and let's say you go to Atlanta, you're going to have to do another channel scan to pick up on their airwaves up there. Here's your radio / DVD player. What's actually cool about this is it has two zones. So zone 1 would be inside, like your interior speakers, and then those exterior marine speakers we were talking to you about would be zone 2, so you can kind of go between both of them or play both at the same time. It has a USB port for charging phones. It has a headphone jack, auxiliary port, and it is Bluetooth capable, so you can hook it up right to your phone. If you'll notice, down here you have this black circle. That's actually going to be the furnace vents, so heat tends to rise, so they put all your furnace outputs on the floor, and then your AC is up here on the roof. Your thermostat is over here on the wall, and I'll kind of walk you through that. This is called a three button Dometic thermostat, so all this is kind of like a LCD screen. If you hit mode one time, it'll bring up your fan settings. You can go from auto to low to high. I would prefer you probably just keep it on auto so each system knows what to do. And it'll do that automatically. You hit mode again, it'll bring it to cool. And then you can go ahead and set your temperature to 70 degrees, and that's going to be cool enough for the coach. Hit it, so that's actually the AC kicking on. And then if you hit auto again, or hit mode again, it'll put it on the furnace setting, and then we can go ahead and jack it up to 95 degrees. I think is as high as it goes. Another little side note you're going to want to know, when you hit both of these buttons simultaneously, it'll drop it to Celsius instead of Fahrenheit, so don't freak out. Just go ahead and hit both buttons again, it'll put it back in the Fahrenheit setting. And your slide out, this is going to be your dinette. You have storage under this seat and under this seat. This is can also be made into a bed. So you would remove these legs, the table would drop down, and then all the cushions would be arranged to fill in all the blanks. So there's an additional bed there. You have 110 outlets. You have a 110 outlet over here, and a USB port charging docking station for phones, laptops, and such. These lights up here are going to be operated through just this little touch button, just kind of like in a hotel. So you can just turn them on and off as such. And then the biggest thing in your slide out is going to be your refrigerator. Now the refrigerator can be 110, and it can also be propane, and that's all operated off of what we call the eyebrow. Right here in the diagram, you have the on and off button. So the button in would be on, and the button out would be off. So we're going to go ahead and push it in. In this position, you can see where the auto has the orange LED lit up. That's going to be all electric. So an electric element is heating up the back of the refrigerator and cooling the inside. And then once you put it in this diagram, once you push that button out, it'll switch to gas. A couple things you need to know about all the gas appliances in your coach. So once it opens the gas valve and sparks, it's going to give you 3 attempts to go ahead and ignite that flame. If it fails, you would just have to turn it off and on again, and then it'll give you an additional 3 tries. So, I mean, this has only been plugged in for a couple hours on the electric side, and it's already nice and cool inside. Propane is generally used just to cool the refrigerator in a quicker fashion than electric. Electric might take 6 to 8 hours to actually cool the refrigerator. Propane would probably take 2. And the refrigerators are actually made to be on propane as you go down the road. So by the time you get to your campsite, it's already cooled and ready to go. Over here, you have your faucets. This is your deep stainless steel sink. You have storage underneath. This is going to be for cleaning supplies, washcloths, anything like that. Then they have, serves as like a cutting board and also a cover. So there's that. It just sits down in here. You have storage across the top. Also the storage over here. This is going to be for like your silverware and cooking utensils and things like that. You have your microwave, which is just like any residential microwave. Right here you have your LED light on and off, and an exhaust fan that will pull some heat and anything you need out the side of the coach. And then you also have a 3-burner, what they call a range. And this is operated fairly simple. Nick, if you want to get in here on this. So right now they're all 3 in the off position. You turn it to the flame, and then just one turn of the dial on the left is your sparker, and it'll ignite all 3 of those. Okay. So there's that, and all 3 of those are lit, and then you can go ahead and dial them down to whatever desired temperature you want. Then you also have an oven down below, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Same thing here. We'll go ahead and put it in the off position in order. So this actually has a pilot, and then you can leave it on pilot or just have it off, and then turn it to whatever desired temperature you want. But for now, we'll put it on pilot. We'll push that button in and hit that spark. So the pilot is actually lit underneath, and then once you put it on your desired temperature, the whole burning chamber will go ahead and ignite with gas. And then you go ahead and bake whatever you're baking. One cool thing that they've added in on this is a little LED display on the front. And then this is also the light for inside of the oven. So if you need to check on something, you just hit the light. We'll go ahead and hit on this down here for a second. I'm just going to step out. So down here, the number one thing that probably sticks out is this chrome little button here. This is actually the battery disconnect, so when it's pulled out, the coach is on. And then if you were going to put it in storage and you didn't want any draw on that 12-volt battery up front, you would just push it in, and then it would kill 12-volt power to the coach. For now, we'll just keep it out. So this is also your slide-out buttons, or your button, and it's labeled in and out. Of course, out would be to push the slide out the side of the coach, and then to bring it in would be the in button. Right here is how you would operate your awning that we kind of touched on earlier, and the same thing there. It has the extend and retract button. If you look here, you have a monitor panel. This pretty much just tells you all the gauges of where everything's at on the coach. So your battery right now is 4 bars, which is full. And then same thing, so we have fresh black gray tanks. So the fresh tank would be like potable water. Black tank is going to be all your feces, and then gray is going to be all your dishwater and shower water and such. All the blue buttons, I'll kind of touch on those. Is going to be your water pump on and off, and then your water heater. If you can see here, it says LP gas. That would be how you turn off that water heater and then turn it back on. And then everything else is just lights throughout the coach. Down below, you have a LP and carbon monoxide detector. This sits on the floor because gas is heavier than air and everything tends to sink to the floor. Every 48 to 72 hours, this will do a little chirp to do like a self-test to make sure everything's all right. And then after that, if your battery goes below 9 volts, this thing's going to start going crazy and chirping until you hit the reset button. The reason it does that is it's saying, hey, I can't smell LP or carbon monoxide, something's wrong. And then just simply pressing the button will turn it off. Okay. We'll talk about the bathroom. So in your bathroom, we'll talk about the most important thing is this GFI outlet. If it's located by the sink, so if any moisture was to get into this outlet or any outlet labeled GFI, this breaker right here will pop, and then in order to get those to work, you'd have to let it dry out and then reset the GFI. Here's your bathroom vanity. Then you got some storage below for toilet paper, and then up here, this is going to be your vanity or medicine cabinet. Your shower is a walk-in shower. It's plenty big enough for myself. I'm 6'1", so you have plenty of room there. Hot is always going to be on any appliance in your coach. Hot is always on the left. Cold is always on the right. And then you have a shower head that tends to hang up here. So you can go ahead and do that. Then you have the sliding glass door here. Last appliance to talk about is your toilet. This is a little foot pedal here, or a pedestal is what they call it. About a quarter of the way down, and this will start to fill up with water. Okay, then you would do your business. All the way to the floor would be to dump it. What I tell a lot of my customers is you want this little amount of water in the bowl so that it creates a nice seal between you and the tank, so you're not smelling the tank as you're camping. Just make sure you refill it with water. And I think that's it.